You're probably wondering why I've titled this lie as Thieves and Grots. And for those who don't understand the terminology grot, it is where somebody doesn't wash themselves. It's the three things that when I was in the army we were learnt to hate. But the worst one wasn't so much a thief, because you know a thief could be honest, and a grot could be honest, but a liar? A liar is somebody you could never trust. I'm going to take you on a journey, and I'm going to show you something. 19 hours ago, I published a video. This video was called Out of the Shadows. As you can see, 19 hours ago, and I will put all the links below. One of the links I want you to notice is this one, where I actually found a patent directly linked to Deinology. But it wasn't the only patent. I'll get into that in a minute. Imagine my surprise from what I find now. Here we have Mr. PFC Bergie's Twitter page. As we go down his page, we'll notice a few things. 11 hours ago, so we got 19 hours versus 11 hours. That's an 8 hour, maybe 7.5, 8 hour difference. Below is my digitally signed 2015 IG complaint against my employer, Deinology, owned by Obama's National Security Advisor General Jones. Look at Deinology patent below. You cannot dispute who I am or what Clearforce is doing. Are you okay with this? Well, let's do this okay with this bit, shall we, Mr. Bergie? Remember what I showed you? So let's go to this page, people. Let's now click on this, which is the letter that says he was reprised against you for making protected disclosures. In other words, you gave information out you were not supposed to. Well, it didn't in that case, Mr. Bergie. But where have we seen this before? Just to prove to you that I put this out 8 hours prior to Mr. Bergie. And if I can get the thing on the bloody button, it's doing it again. There we go. And we go along. There it is there. But even better, let's go back to Mr. Bergie's page. And we click on that, and we'll click on the link. Is it not exactly the same patent design? So why is Mr. Bergie now putting this patent up when he's never done it before? How do we know that? There's his site. I've been going through it. I've not found this patent anywhere on his site. No one's talked about this patent. No one's asked about this patent. It's a patent that I found that's kept me awake because of all the research I've been doing and trying to understand it. That is why it was important that I got that information out and why I asked so many questions of Mr. Bergie's story. Because Mr. Bergie's story is like a colander. It's got many holes in it. I also have another question for you, Mr. Bergie. When you left Deinology, did you sign an NDA or an Official Secrets Act? I'm sure you might have actually signed that, which is why you're not being exactly forthwith so-called information. Isn't that so? But this gets to a bit more turn of events. Let's go to the ShadowNet hacker. The ShadowNet hacker is Mr. Bergie's Patreon site. How do I know he has a Patreon site? Well, let's go here. Become a Patreon. If I click on it, it takes you to the ShadowNet hacker, where you can become a sponsor or a Patreon of the ShadowNet hacker. When did Shadowgate drop? Well, the original teaser was the 3rd of August, and then it dropped on the 14th of August. Now I'm going to show you something very interesting. Here we have Graphtron, and here we have the ShadowNet hacker video. which shows he's earning $678 per month now. But let's go here. This is a bit more interesting thing. So remember I said it was the 3rd of August when the teaser started. So, and there's August the 1st. Boom. August the 2nd, August the 3rd. 35. So around about the time when the teaser was dropped, there was a straight jump of Mr. Bergey's thing. Let's go along. August the 10th, 12th, 13th, August the 15th, which was the day after, there was a thing. Then it dropped down on the 16th, and then wallop. Just as the hype all started with Millie Dowler being arrested, and then she was all the stuff that was being pushed, and this stuff that was going on, all of a sudden Mr. Bergey's Patreon jumps up again. So, profiteering from the situation by creating a narrative about the situation. Isn't that so, Mr. Bergey? But here's the kicker, you see. I'm always a bit suspicious. Sometimes I hold something back. Let me show you what I held back, Mr. Bergey. Shall I? Data and event management system and method, because they had 2 patents, but one that was actioned on, which was in 2016, but this one was abandoned. What makes this patent very interesting, Mr. Bergey, is when we go down to the bottom. Name, Dynology Corporation, Virginia. Assignment of assigner's interest, assigner Jones James III, General James's son. General Jones's son. Let's go here. Methods, filtration, preparation methods, corresponding data mining, engineering processes, and labeling. Data mining. 2013, Edward Snowden showed that the NSA was data mining. Same time here, we've got a patent there which shows data mining. It was abandoned, or was it abandoned? Or was it actually put into the concept of the one that they released in 2016? But they've already been working on it and building it since that time. These are questions that need to be asked and need to have answers to. But there is one thing, Mr. Bergey, you're right. There needs to be an investigation on this, because this is bypassing people's Bill of Rights and also their Fourth Amendment rights. This is so intrusive, this actual software that I located, not you, Mr. Bergey, that you're now pumping out on your site to make yourself credibility. Remember, a few days ago I made a video about credibility. You're selling a story, not the story. That's what I do. I go and locate and find things, and when I do, I put the information out there for people to take in and take on board and take away with it. Not to then take it away and present it as their own work to give themselves credibility. Isn't that right, Mr. Bergey? Because after all, did I not put that out of the shadows? To prove that factor, let's refresh the page.
Doing is gathering all your
19 hours ago. Let's go to your page so people can see in real time. I've refreshed the page. Oops, a daisy. Refresh the page, go down. 11 hours ago. So there's 8 hours difference from this, of which then you put that up, which you've never talked about before. You've never shown before. The only reason you know about it is because Agent Serco exposed it. So, Mr. Bergey, I want to know what this is all about. And considering now I've to prove with the Patreon how that was jumping up and up, is that what it's all about? On that note, toodle pips.